Okay, well, welcome to our show today. It's Jon and LoriAnn. We are here answering questions for teens and talking about how teens can be successful in their lives. Jon has some extensive background in this, and I have raised 5 teenagers. I've got 17 grandkids, and I know Jon has got grandkids and
Mhm.
has raised teenagers also. And he is such a gentleman in being able to run businesses and help people prosper in their lives, and is going through a lot in his life right now with things going on. We called this Brainpower Breakthroughs because Jon is actually going through some brain power breakthroughs of his own right now with his health
Yes.
challenges. So we today, Jon has some great ideas that he wanted to talk to. So I'm just gonna turn it over to you and you go for it.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for being on our show. Appreciate it. Um, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell if you want to be notified and all that good stuff. But what I really thought was cool today, yesterday, we initiated a new idea. We thought, we've got on here and we've just shared, we've talked, we've given our ideas and stuff. But we also know that there's people out there that have questions and maybe they'd like answers to their questions. So yesterday we put it out that if you've got a question that you want answered live on our show, send it. Nothing's off limits. We don't judge anything. Everything's cool. And all of a sudden, Susan from Virginia pops a question to us. So here's what she said. And LoriAnn, this is for you.
Okay.
She said, LoriAnn, I know you last week or a couple weeks ago, you talked about how we're not supposed to take things personally. And yes, that's what we did share was how to go through life without taking things, without taking things that people say or do that affect us, without taking them personally. So here's what Susan said. She goes, I understand, and it's easy to not take it personally if you're dealing with someone that you don't know, like a total stranger, or a coworker that you don't do a lot of stuff with, so you're not involved with them. That's easy to not take that stuff personally. However, how do you not take it personally? And this is her basis of her question, LoriAnn, for you. She said, LoriAnn, how do you not take it personally when it's a close friend or family member? It's a great question.
A great question. And it gets you right in your heart when there are things that are going on personally between family members. And my you have to work through it. But what I have done is I have to put myself where that other person is and realize this isn't about me. And number
Exactly.
one is the only way that I've even been able to get through some of the attacks, I could say, that family members have thrown our way or thrown my way. And that I've had to step back because my first is retaliate and jump on the defense, being defensive and trying to protect what I feel like I'm trying to protect. But when you do what Jon said in the last couple of episodes of pause, step back, really listen to what that person is saying, because they're not attacking you, they're attacking something that's going on in their life.
Exactly.
So you can't take it on personally because then you are being, and I use this word loosely, you are being selfish. If you're going to take that person's attack to yourself, that's selfish because it's not about you.
Mhm.
So if you want to be selfless, then, you know, let them say or do or be who they're going to be. And you just show up as loving as you possibly can with no judgment. And then you can even repeat maybe some things back to them that you've heard them say in ways of, I think what I'm hearing you say is, you don't like this and this and this. And you don't ever have to say you're sorry, but you could say words like, I apologize if that is something that has made you feel uncomfortable, or those are all words that you can use, but most of the time, it doesn't need to be any words.
True. A lot of times, and I'll interject this in there because I know this works really, really well. A lot of times after you repeat back what you, is this what I hear you say?
Yeah.
If you just sit in the silence and don't say anything, then you're leaving that person to think about what they brought. But instead of thinking about how you reacted to it, the only thing going on in their mind is what they said or what they did. And if you sit in the silence, you're taking your power back in the conversation. Okay.
Exactly.
So being that defensive, lash back out to the person, you're giving your power away.
Right.
So to keep your power in you, is this what I heard you say? And then sit back in the silence and let them sit in that and realize where they're coming from and what they've done and what they've said.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the time, they'll turn around quickly and come back to the conversation with you with sincerity. They may ask another question, but in that other question, it may bring resolution to the whole issue that they didn't even see until you did what you just did. Repeat back to them and then sit in the silence and let them think about what they did or said.
Yes.
So great answer,
Great,
LoriAnn.
great
Great answer.
question.
That was a great question, Susan.
Yeah.
Excellent question. Thank you very much. That's how it works, folks. Bring your questions to the table and we'll help you get answers to them. So what else would you like to share on that standpoint, LoriAnn?
Well, I think a lot of times we make up stories in our head about things that are going on that really aren't even going on. I had that situation this morning with my brother, and I thought that he had said something to another family member in the way to get the conversation going. And so I just stopped in our conversation and I just said, look, this is what I've made up in my head about what I think you said. And he knows that I have conversations like this often with him because I got tired of the conversations in my head that I was making up. So I just started asking people. And I just started saying, look, I've made this up in my head that this is what is going on. Is this really true? Or could you help me work through this because it hurt me? Or because I'm thinking there's something else going on and maybe I'm excited about this other thing, but that's really not going to happen. And I've put some expectations in place.
Yes.
And my expectations are not being met. So then life is crappy. But it's just because I've created this mess in my brain about what I think should be going on, or the expectations I have, or what you've said about me. And it's not true. It's not truth.
Yeah. So if there, and let me try and reframe what you were saying there. In the grand scheme of things, basically what you're saying is when you know that there's something off in the conversation, the easiest way to bring it into place is to ask questions. Is that correct? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Exactly. Just like we just demonstrated with that question was clarify or repeat it back or say, this is what I think you said. Or in my brain, I think you said that. Let's clarify that so we can come back together and move forward in the direction we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in doing that, you do it with no judgment.
Yeah.
You do it with no, blame. And it softens the stories. We've shared that before.
Yes.
So that's good. That's great work. Good work.
Okay, I know, Jon, that you said there was something else that you wanted to talk about today. And let me bring that. Okay. Oh, we did it. We talked about it. Okay. So, with just those small, simple steps, there is, I did want to share this. There's this lady that she is so funny. If you Google her and you find her on the internet, her name's Marjorie Pay Hinckley, and she had several kids. And a lot of times when her kids were, going through problems or trials or whatever, and they were causing problems, a lot of times parents will ground their kids or take things away from them or, do some of those kinds of things. And she always made this funniest statement. And she just would say, why are you saying no more than you're saying yes?
Good question.
So if your kids are doing things that you're just having a battle with them, or maybe you as a teenager are having a battle with your parents, in this, I think it ties into everything that we're talking about today. Not taking it personal, sitting back, kind of seeing where the other person's coming from, and then asking good questions. And then maybe sometimes, with that give and take in relationships, say yes more than you say no, because step back and see why you're saying no. If it's a life or death thing that your child's getting into, then you've got to say no. But if it really is just them exploring or you wanting to do something and your parents maybe did that before and it got them in a lot of trouble, they might just be saying no because they're trying to protect you.
Right.
But I think that there's something around that we could talk about. What are your feelings with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if a child grows up always being told no, they're never going to feel like they have the ability or the right to try something. And when that happens, you stymie the growth of that individual.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to fall to succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, in the business world, how many times did Thomas Edison try the light bulb thing?
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, but then he finally made it.
Right.
Sometimes you have to fail. Michael Jordan, prime example, best basketball player on the planet. He'll be the first one to tell you, I missed hundreds of thousands of game-winning shots. He made quite a few as well.
Right.
That won him multiple world championships. But sometimes you have to be willing to miss or fall. I always love the analogy of the baby that learns to walk. You hold him up by his hands, you let go of his hands, he takes 2 steps, takes a tumble to the ground and the carpet, and everybody laughs hysterically.
Yep. Or claps. Yay.
Yeah,
Good job. Good job.
yeah. You fell flat on your face and we're clapping and saying good job. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? But it works because you get back up, you try again.
Yeah.
You get back up, you try again. You get back up, you try again. And one of those times that you got back up and tried again, you actually took 3 or 4 steps. Then you should have heard the crowd yell, holy cow, that's when it's cool. But
Yeah.
that's what it takes over and over and over. Think about when you started to learn how to ride a bike. My bike hit the grass a lot when I first started. But now it's a piece of cake.
Right.
It just takes, what have we been saying for a while? Small steps consistently in a positive direction.
Right.
So the whole idea behind being told no too many times, I think, is in the same strategic standpoint there. You got to be told yes. Not to mention the fact, if you're told yes, what happens to you physically? You get that fuzzy feeling, that positive feeling about, oh, goody, 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 goody. I got to go try something. Where if you're told no all the time, it's like, oh, yeah, don't get to try that either. Oh, well, maybe one day.
Yeah.
And that's got to be disheartening. I understand that. So, yeah, every now and then, I agree with this gal. Every now and then, say yes.
Right. And I have a secret. Should we share the secret?
Of course.
This will work for teenagers and parents. Mm-hmm. So if you're in a conversation with someone, and I learned this in sales, okay? And just so we're clear here, you're trying to sell somebody every day something, whether you're in sales or not. You're trying to sell them on letting you have the car keys for your date on Friday night. You're trying to sell somebody on the kids taking the trash out and doing their chores. You're trying to sell your idea or whatever you want to have happen every day in every conversation.
Very true.
The secret, the secret to success is being unveiled here. When you're having these conversations, the key is to get the other person to say yes 7 times. So if you say to them, hey, are you having a good day? They say no. Okay, reframe your question. Think of questions that you're going to get a yes answer. So what would that look like? Have you done this before, Jon?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you try it with me, get me to say yes 7 times in a conversation, and not even that you're going to try and sell anything to me, but try and get me to say yes.
Okay. Well, I have a first question that I say every time I do this, which is always, it makes people laugh, but I don't care. It's what I had. So my first question to you, LoriAnn, is, did you enjoy your breakfast today?
Oh, wow. I had a fabulous breakfast. Yeah.
There you go.
I love breakfast, though.
That's a big yes.
That is a
big yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved my breakfast today.
Yeah, there you go. Did you get all the grandkids and kiddos off to their daily ventures okay today?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I had a conversation with my daughter this morning and got it all taken care of. So it was a good one. Yes.
Cool. Very, very good. Have you had an appointment yet today?
I've had 3 appointments today. Yes.
Cool. And did you enjoy those?
Yes. I got a lot done.
Cool. Very cool. See, we're up to 4 now, folks. Actually 5.
Yeah.
Actually 5.
Okay. So, but you
got her to say yes 5 times already. But that's how that works. That's what
Yeah.
she's talking about. If you get someone into the pattern of saying yes, then when you ask them a question that in their mind the answer should be no, they're more likely to, because they're already, their subconscious mind has already been saying yes 5 times or
Right.
7 times if you finish the exercise we were talking about.
Right.
If the subconscious mind yes 7 times, when you ask for the sale where they were thinking of saying no, their subconscious say yes. And there's a good opportunity that they say yes. Boom. There you go. There's your sale.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great work, LoriAnn.
And
Great
we
work.
and we
Love it.
know that it's not I mean, in a perfect world, you would be able to get somebody to say yes 7
Mhm.
times, right? There are
Yeah.
definitely going to be times when that's not going to happen,
Mhm.
especially where your attitude is. And we talked about
Mhm.
attitude yesterday. So your attitude has got to be in that loving, recepting, like you can't be rolling your eyes at your mom and dad. You can't be like, or,
Mhm.
you can't be having that attitude, or they're going to be on the defense
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
So start working offense instead of defense.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah.
relationships will be stronger. Your mental, emotional inside of you will be stronger. I feel like the minute I start letting that defensiveness go, and sometimes I don't even know why I'm being defensive.
Mhm. Mhm.
I just
True.
have to I just have to be aware, like, wait, why am I so defensive about this? I had a conversation last night and I started the text back and forth and I was kind of defending myself and I thought, wait a minute, why am I using this
Mhm.
energy on
Mhm.
this in this way when I really am happy with what's going on? I just kind of felt sad that I had to let something go.
Yeah.
And so it was all back on me, and I didn't want to project that into the conversation I was having. So I did that
Mhm.
pause. I had to step back. And then
Mhm.
the whole thing turned out beautifully this morning, where I could have really changed the outcome of what happened there. It just in that text, if I would have kept that little defensive part in there and I just went through and I just wiped it out of there and I was like, there is no
Mhm.
need to even say this part. It was just
Yeah.
like this little jab, and I didn't mean to do that. But when it's been good for me to do these calls with you, Jon, every day,
Very
because it
good.
really is keeping me in that mindset of being
Mhm.
aware of what my attitude is, these
Yeah.
small, simple steps that I can take, my
Yeah.
communication, the power of my word,
Mhm.
standing in my power, not giving my power away.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to help you with.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect. We're still going through it
Oh,
ourselves. That's why we can talk about it openly because we're making mistakes every day.
yeah.
But we
No,
can give you the suggestions of what we've lived through so you don't have to go through it. All the
yeah.
crap that we've gone through, you can like skip and, skip ahead.
Yeah. You want to learn from somebody that's already made the mistakes, or you want to learn from your own mistakes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Subtle way of putting that one.
Yeah.
I've, yeah, I've done both. I've learned from my own mistakes and I've learned from some great people.
Right.
Come to the realization I really like learning from great people.
Yes. Let's fast forward through
So,
those
yes,
mistakes.
absolutely. Yeah. And I'll go back to one of the things that we brought up was the pause.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, my wife Amy brought that to me a while back, and she goes, when I get my clients to pause and to think about what have they said, what were they asking, what were they wanting, what were they dealing with, but just to get them to pause and go into that Is this a positive thought? Is this a negative thought? Is this something that will move my needle forward? Is this something that'll hold me back? Is this something that this person is not going to like to hear?
Yeah.
Is this something that this person is going to enjoy hearing and want to be a part of my conversation? But just taking that little pause, and it doesn't have to be long, folks. This is not long, drawn out stuff. This isn't a big, huge dissertation that you're writing for a college theory thing. Small, little steps. And little things matter. They make a big difference in our lives.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was good stuff. That was really good stuff, LoriAnn. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Well, and we just want, we are excited to answer your questions. So
Yeah. So
that
bring them
I
on. Thank you,
love.
Susan from Virginia. That was a great question.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you guys have questions, how do we put it together? There's our emails are in the notes.
Yes, the emails are in the notes. I put them in there.
Okay.
And then any questions that you want to put in the comments.
Yep.
If it's something that you want to be anonymous, make sure just to email us. We'll check those and we'll make sure that we shout you out in our show and answer your question.
Yeah. And by the way, that's how we're going to shout you out. Okay.
Right.
Susan from Virginia.
Right.
We don't do full names. We don't do email addresses. I'm not selling your stuff to no marketing company. Don't worry about any of that stuff.
We don't have time for that.
No, your first name and whatever state you're from is about all you're going to get out of me for this, but we'll shout that part out to you. But I love the fact that Susan jumped in and said, I got a question.
Yeah.
And it was a good question at that. So thank you. Kudos to you, Susan. Hope you're having a great day. I hope our answer gave you some light on how to hold your power, how to stand in your power when you're dealing with this kind of an issue or situation, and how to really feel comfortable about where you can come from in that conversation. So good work. Good job. Good question.
And that's how you share your love. You know, I think love is really something that we don't talk about a lot, that is key to our relationships. And loving yourself has got to be very, a very high priority.
Yes. Number one.
Love for yourself.
Yes.
And then when you are in these situations, you know, people won't be able to rattle you so quickly and you don't have to jump on that defense. You can stay in the offense and stay in that space of love and share your heart.
Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Well, thank you for today, Jon.
Yes, you're more than welcome.
A great show, and we will see you tomorrow.
Sounds great. Okay. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.